A new law in Washington state allows castration of teenagers without parental consent. Something that's unimaginable even 18 months ago is now the law. Jason Rantz is a Seattle radio host. He's watched this happen. In fact, he broke this story. He joins us tonight. Jason, thanks a lot for digging this up and telling us about it. So give us the outline of this law.
Yeah, so it's actually a combination of 3 laws. Right now, if you're as young as 13 years old, you can start the process of gender reassignment and not have to tell your parents. Now, the first law gives 13 to 17-year-olds the right to mental health treatment without parental consent. The second law forces insurance companies to cover gender dysmorphia or so-called gender-affirming care for that same age group, 13 to 17 years old. It also, however, mandates that insurance providers exclusively communicate with the teen patient, not the policyholder, who in this case would be the parent, although they still have to pay for it. But now there's this new law that went into effect 11 days ago that mandates all new health plans have to cover gender-affirming care, including cosmetic surgeries that previously were denied. So now in totality, the treatment for these kids can include everything from puberty blockers to speech therapy, but potentially, obviously, tracheal shaves, so-called top surgery where the breast tissue is removed, and then various genital surgeries. And none of this has to be approved by the parent.
But, I mean, these are very serious medical operations with lifelong consequences that we can't understand because this is all so new. To cut parents out of the equation is really a profound statement that the state is more powerful than the parents.
Absolutely, and this is nothing new. I mean, in the state of Washington, if a kid has HIV, they can get treatment without actually getting parental consent either. And the argument that's usually given is that there's the potential for someone who is transgender, who's 13, 14, 15 years old, who doesn't have the support of their parents, and if they were to be open and honest about it, it could do them serious damage. And certainly that can be the case in some instances. But in a lot of these cases, I remember being 13 or 14, 15 years old, you sometimes just feel awkward having conversations with parents, and maybe you just don't want to have that conversation. But rather than taking away an incredibly important part of a child, the support and love of a parent to have the conversation about what they're going through, which I'm very sympathetic towards, they're breaking the families up and they're not really giving them a chance.
That's right. It's pretty easy to destroy families. They're doing it. They've done it for decades. But do you really want to live with the consequences of that? And we don't, but we are. Jason Rantz, appreciate your reporting. Thank you.